So there's obviously a heap of main bosses as well as hidden or side bosses in Shadow of the Erdtree, but there is a very specific set of 4 difficult bosses that are scattered throughout the map. And these are the Mausoleum bosses, which are not only a lot of fun to fight, but they also give you some really solid armor and weapons when you beat them. Today, I'm going to be running you guys through all 4 of the Mausoleum bosses in Elden Ring, where to find them, and some tips on beating them too. Now, the first one is very simple. This is the Western Nameless Mausoleum, found right near the spawn point when you enter the DLC. Right here from the gravesite plain side of Grace. It is literally just up and to the left, and to be honest, a lot of you may have already stumbled upon this right when you started the game. I heard a lot of people saying they thought this was actually the first main path boss, so there is a chance you've already been here. Now, like I said, it's easy to get here, but it is not easy to beat him. The Black Jail Knight is probably one of the bosses that I've struggled with the most when it comes to this game. Granted, I was very low level when it comes to the Erdtree Blessing, but it's fair to say I did get stuck on him for quite a while. Now, the only real tip I have is to keep your distance and sort of try to get him to use his bow. He has a crossbow attack that is pretty easy to dodge. You just run straight past it, and then once he's done, he is vulnerable to attack, so hit him with some jump attacks and that will stagger him a little bit and deal some pretty good damage. What I'll also say is that if you are really stuck on this and you're doing this early on in the game, it's probably best to progress the game a little bit further, get some of these Erdtree fragments and make the game a little bit easier for yourself. Once you do beat him, he will reward you with the Solitude armor set and the Greatsword, which is one of the best sets in the entire DLC, not only in terms of the stats, but it also looks very, very cool. And this is essentially the set that I've been using 90% of my playtime in the DLC. It is very heavy armor, but obviously with that comes a lot of protection. Now, the next one you'll probably want to find is the Northern Nameless Mausoleum, and this one is pretty easy to find, but does take quite a journey if you haven't been there before. You'll need to get to the Ancient Ruins base site of Grace, which if you don't have that on your map, you'll need to access via the Morth Ruins site of Grace, located here after the second boss fight. So head to Morth Ruins, head northeast until you find this little swamp area, and head on past that into this underground path that will take you through the mountain. Now, it is quite a long tunnel through here. It takes quite a while. There are a lot of enemies throughout here too, but you can just keep on going through them and avoid all of those enemies. And once you make it through to the other side, you will make it out of the tunnel to the Ancient Ruins base site that I mentioned earlier. Now, from here, you want to head down southwest through the valley and look out for these big fellas, as they can deal some pretty decent damage, but you can just obviously ride past them. Be sure to do the old zigzag tactic past the one with the bow, and then realistically, you just need to keep on going down in this direction until eventually you will come to a spirit spring. Now, if yours doesn't work, you will just need to unseal it, so just head up this little path straight behind it and attack the white pile of stones to break that seal. Jump up the 2 spirit springs and you'll find the Northern Mausoleum up on this plateau here. This one sees you fighting Red Bear, who in my opinion is probably one of the easiest of the lot. He will deal a good bit of damage in quick succession as his attack speed is super quick, but I kind of found that if you let him pretty much just do a few attacks until he's stopped, he has plenty of windows where you can damage him, and he seems to stagger really easily. So hit him with those jump attacks and you'll deal a lot of damage. Once you kill Red Bear, he will give you his Bear Claw weapons as well as the Iron Rivet armor set, which is also a very cool looking set. Now, before we get on to the next 2, if you guys are new to the channel and you are enjoying the video so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. There is plenty more Elden Ring content on the way, so make sure you don't miss out. Now, the next 2 is where this will start to get a little bit tricky, because they are both a little bit more difficult to get through than the 2 that I just went through. The next one we're going to go through is the Eastern Mausoleum, and to get here, you want to head to the Storehouse first floor side of Grace. Now, if you haven't beaten the 3rd boss and gone to the Shadow Keep just yet, just be aware that you can bypass that 3rd boss if you want to get this before that. I did cover that in depth in this video right here if you guys want to go and check that out, but I assume most of you have probably beaten the 3rd boss. Now, from the Storehouse first floor side of Grace, turn around, head down the elevator and run out past the Fire Knight, then turn left, avoiding these enemies, and over on the left you'll find a hidden ladder. Go down the ladder, turn right, and then go left through that waterfall to another ladder, and then down here you can find a room with a painting. When you're looking at that painting, just turn right and you'll find this empty wall on the right here. Just attack that and it will open this secret passage, and then head on through and down to the end of that path where you'll find this coffin. Jump in and it will take you down to the Castle Watering Hole side of Grace, which pretty much opens up an entire new section of the map. From here, you want to head on through this area, avoiding the Furnace Golem, and get to the next side of Grace. Be sure to rest straight away so he doesn't attack you with his long range attack. Keep on going forward, cross to the other side, and then head over to the next side of Grace called the Recluse's River Downstream, and again, rest at that one as well. Now, from here, you want to drop down these stepping stones that are right next to that side of Grace. Head all the way down to that lower level down below in the water, jump back on Torrent, and then head under the little archway and turn right through this water section. And eventually up here you will find the Eastern Mausoleum, which holds Rakshasa, in my opinion the hardest of the 4 bosses. Now she is very difficult, but she is also very easy to learn, as she realistically only has about 4 or 5 different movesets, and they are also very slow. She has a great katana, which means she does very heavy attacks. Obviously that means they deal a lot of damage if they do hit, but it gives you a lot of time to dodge them. Now you definitely want to avoid this sweeping one that she does here, because usually if it hits you once it will hit you twice, and that can almost kill you from pretty much full health. Keep in mind though that when she is doing that sweeping attack, you can time it right to jump right as she's sort of doing that second swing. You'll avoid the hit and then you'll hit her and stagger her out of that attack. The thing that I found to work with this boss fight was that I essentially just let her attack me without risking anything. I was playing it very, very safe. And then because she does such big attacks, as soon as you see an opening, you can just do a jump attack and then dodge back to safety, and she can't really hit you in time. That'll allow you to essentially just eat away at her health slowly but surely. She is one of those bosses that realistically is actually very easy. It just takes a long time to kill her, and realistically only 1 or 2 mistakes can cost you. So play it slow, play it safe, and chip away at her health without getting greedy. And like I said, if you do that, realistically it is an easy fight. Once I killed her, I went, damn, that was actually pretty easy. But like I said, 1 or 2 mistakes can cost you, and I was stuck on her for probably about an hour or so. Once you kill her, this will give you Rakshasa's armor set and great katana, which are both absolutely awesome. To be honest, they're probably some of my favorite items so far in the DLC. Now lastly, we have by far the easiest one to beat in my opinion. I managed to get both her and the red bear on the first attempt, despite getting stuck, like I said, for maybe an hour each on the other 2. And this one's at the Southern Nameless Mausoleum. Like I said, it's an easy fight, but it will take you a long time to get there. Now this all starts at Castle Ensis, which is close to the bridge right near the start of the DLC. And from the castle front side of Grace, you want to turn back and go left, and then just follow left along this path until you get to this sort of cliff area where you can jump down and pretty much continue to jump down until eventually you will get all the way down to the bottom, where you'll find a crab in a swamp area. Now from here, turn right and head straight past this enemy plant into the cave, and head on through here until you come to the Elak River side of Grace. Be sure to rest here as it is kind of tough ahead. From there, then head out over this waterfall, platforming across this section, and essentially just keep on going down this path. It is literally impossible to get lost. There is only one way to go, and it is also pretty difficult to fail these platform jumps. They are very easy when you're riding with Torrent. You'll eventually find another side of Grace, rest here again, and then head on in the same direction, hugging to the right and heading down to this bottom area, and just keep on sticking to this wall on the right. If you keep on going along that path, make sure to avoid the furnace golem and then sort of head right through this section here. Eventually you'll come to the Cerulean coast, which, might I add, is probably the best looking area of the map. From here, head southwest over past these ruins, and in the distance you'll see a dead tree, and that is where you need to be. So head on over towards it. Once you're getting closer, wrap around this area and just be sure to avoid those enemies because they do deal a fair amount of damage. Jump down towards the shore and then jump down into this tunnel section, and from here you pretty much can't get lost. So head on through. There is only one way out, and you will come out the other side over on that island. From here, head left up onto this area and then jump across this gap here, and just over to the left is the Mausoleum, where you'll find this final boss. This one is the Dancer of Rana. In my opinion, she is the easiest of the lot. I barely even needed to heal myself. She barely put up a fight, and like I said, this is right after being stuck on the previous one, so it's not like I'm over leveled or anything. I think she literally is just the easiest boss of the lot. She staggers very easily like the red bear, so I'm sure you guys will get her done very quickly. And once you kill this boss, she will give you the dancer set as well as her weapon. So that is it for all 4 of the mausoleums in Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, guys. Some of them are definitely pretty difficult, but if you just stick with it, you will get them in no time, and they give you some pretty awesome rewards. That's going to do it for this one though, guys. Thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.